Hello, welcome to Jessie at Home. This is the second video in the series of 3 videos that show you how to make this ornament throw from redheart.com. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to take this stack of ornaments and turn them into one of these little strips of ornaments that will then get joined together to make the whole blanket. So, let's take a look here. Now, just as before with the ornaments and the color chart, I have made a chart to help you with the stripes, the little strips that we are joining together. You can see we have strips A through L, and I am currently working on strip H. That is the strip that I'm about to join together right now. And so with strip H, I know that these are the ornaments I need. Remember when we made the ornaments, there were 16 of them, and they were all numbered from 1 to 16. There were 16 different color combinations. And so I know with strip H, I'm using ornament 14, 15, 16, 13, 16, 15, 14. And what they always do is there's always 7 ornaments, and they start with one color. There's only 4 colors in them. They start with a first color, a second color, a first ornament, a second ornament, a third ornament, a fourth ornament, and then it kind of mirror images back. So the 5th ornament is the same as the 3rd, the 6th ornament is the same as the 2nd, and the 7th ornament is the same as the 1st. So you can see how they mirror around this one in the middle. They actually mirror. And if you looked at each one of them, you'd see that these 2 are identical, these 2 are identical, and these 2 are identical. Okay? So what I do when I'm ready to make a strip is I just stack them up, and it doesn't matter which is the top and the bottom because they're mirrored around the center, right? So there's my little stack of ornaments that I need to make strip H. So now let's talk about how to actually join these together. I'm going to take my little stack of ornaments and put them over on my corner here. Get my yarn all ready to go. Here, I'll put the stack of ornaments over there and the yarn over here. And you start off with a slip stitch. You want to make sure to leave yourself a tail that I would say, leave yourself at least a foot long tail here, because at this point the tails that we're leaving, they're actually going to become part of our tassels. So you want to make sure you leave yourself plenty. Okay, because if it's not long enough, then there's a problem. You want to make sure you leave plenty so that your tail can be part of your tassel. So I've been leaving like a foot, 10 to 12 inches, just to make sure that I have plenty of yarn for a tassel. All right, this is not super expensive, $30, $60 a ball kind of yarn. You can afford to leave yourself a good sized tail. And even with those, you still want to leave yourself a tail. But let's get going now. We have our slip knot on our hook. And to start off, you actually just make 1 chain. Now you're going to pick up your first ornament. And the 2 ends of your ornament they each have 2 sets of 3 trebles. You see here, I'm sorry, of 2 trebles. You see here's 2 trebles together in this stitch. And here are 2 trebles together in this stitch. So you want to grab your ornament by either end. It doesn't matter. They're a mirror image. And with these 4 trebles, you want to find the second one. So here's 2 sets of 2. Here's a set of 2. Here's a set of 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's your third one. This is the stitch you want to work into to begin with. You're just going to slip stitch into that one. And now you're going to slip stitch around in the next 24 stitches. So there'll be a total, you just did 1, you're going to do 24 more. There'll be a total of 25 slip stitches. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see now how this is actually just sitting on top. You still have your this out maybe. You still have the chain, the little chains from the top of your stitches, the loops on the top of your stitches are still there, and now you've made another set of loops on the side. And it's this row is joining things together, and it's also decorative along here. So that was 5. We're going to keep going until there's 25. 24. 25. Okay, so now I've made 25 slip stitches. And they have gone from, here's 2 trebles that haven't been worked into, and then there's 2 trebles that have slip stitches in them. And it goes all the way around, and now we're working into these 2 trebles. They have slip stitch in them, and these 2 trebles do not. So you can see that break in between the sets of 2 trebles on both ends. We have worked in half of this ornament. Now it's time to join the next ornament, but we need a little space in between them. So now you're going to chain 5, and make sure you do not chain tightly. Okay, you might just want to kind of loosen up your tension a little bit when you make these chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, see, I made them nice and loose. Now you're going to do the 25 slip stitches on this ornament, the next ornament in the pile, exactly the same way you did before. Here's 2 trebles, here's 2 trebles, so we're starting with the second set of trebles. 1, 2, we're starting in treble number 3. And slip stitch. And then slip stitch in 24 more, so there will be 25 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to keep doing that. 25 slip stitches on half of the ornament, chain 5. 25 slip stitches around half the ornament, chain 5, all the way until you've gotten to the very last ornament. I'll meet you back at the last ornament number 7 in this strip, and then we'll talk about how to turn and come back the other direction. Okay, so I have just finished joining the 7th ornament in this strip, and I've done the 25 slip stitches around half of the ornament. You can see I've got half the ornament done with 25 slip stitches. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to chain 2, because we need this little blip at the end. You'll see why when we get to the next round. And now we're going to do the other 25 stitches. We're going to slip stitch into the other 25 stitches that we have not worked into yet. So on this very end, after our 7th ornament is joined and we have the 25 slip stitches, we chain 2, and then we slip stitch into the remaining 25 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 24, 25. All right, so now we have the other 25 stitches that we've slip stitched into the other 25 stitches, and now we've gotten back to here where our chains are. And if you look, you can tell that they're kind of twisted. That happens sometimes. You need to figure out which way to turn until, there we go, it's untwisted. And you can tell that it's untwisted because there. So I had to turn them a bit. You can tell that it's untwisted because now all of the little loops are lined up. Before, they weren't really lined up. Even though this was a front and a front, you can't see the loops. You can't see those pretty little teardrop shapes, which means you've got a twist going on. So now we have a front and a front, and we have all those pretty little teardrops. Let me put it over top of something darker so maybe you can see the little teardrops. Okay. Now, since we have all those teardrops lined up, we're now going to slip stitch into the bottom loop of these 5 chains. So these teardrops are the top loop. If we turn both of these over, you can see these little ridges here. These are the bottom loops of your chains, and we are going to slip stitch into all 5 of those chains. So, and honestly, I start with this one. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you start with this one and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it won't make a difference as long as you're consistent throughout as to which, because there's kind of, you can see there's really 6 bumps if you count these 2. There's 4 clear bumps in the middle, and then the 2 that are kind of coming off of the ornaments. As long as you're consistent with which 5 you use, it's fine. I use these 5. Okay. As with most things in crochet, there are a lot of places where there's room for interpretation. And as long as you're consistent, it's okay. It is important with these that you are working in these bottom loops, because by working in the bottom loops, you have the little chainy loops on this side, the chain loops on this side. You have two sets of chain loops, and we'll need to work into those. So you need to work on these bottom ridges, 4, 5, to make these slip stitches. And that way you have the set of loops here and the set of loops here, because when we work the next round, we need those loops to work into. It will be a real big pain if you don't do it this way. So take your time to figure out the right way to do this one and make sure that you're working into those bottom loops, okay? Now we're going to continue in that manner. We are going to slip stitch in the 25 unworked stitches, and then slip stitch in the next 5. And again, you can see this one is twisted. All right, so I just twist the other way and see if it looks like it got worse or better. That looks like it got worse. So let's see, maybe it went this way. Haha, it got better. And there's my loops. All right, you definitely know that both sides should be facing up. And you know, you need both sides to be facing the same direction. Here's my loops, here's my ridges. Everything is good. When I get to there, I'll do my 5 slip stitches in the back loops there, and in the bottom ridges there, and then slip stitch 25, and so on all the way till I get back to the first one, and I'll show you how we end off this round. Okay, I've completed the very last set of 25 slip stitches, and I've gotten back to the beginning of my round. So I just did slip stitch number 25. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into the first chain that I made. Remember how we made one chain before we started our slip stitches? I'm now going to slip stitch into the bottom ridge again of that one chain. Okay, I am then going to cut off a really long tail. Okay, clip my yarn with a really long tail, and then yarn over, pull through, and pull it all the way through to tighten that off. That way I have this little space right here I can work into. Okay, there's a little blip on this end, and there's a little blip on this end. Okay, and I have my tail ends both here that are nice and long. So now we are ready to begin the second round of the little joining parts. We've joined them all together, and now we're doing this little border round to fill things out a little bit and give us a nice white space in between the colorful ornaments. It's just, I liked having that little extra space in between the colorful ornaments of the white to just kind of separate things out. So let's go ahead and get started on that round. As before, really long tail. It's going to be part of your tassel. Make a slip stitch. I'm sure my tails are excessively long. Oh well. I would rather have too much than not enough when I have my tassels. So now you're going to make a standing double crochet. You're just going to, basically you're going to work 3 double crochet into this little space right here. Remember how there's a little blip on this end? You see how we can find a space in here? You're going to place 3 double crochet in there. So you're just going to grab a hold of your tail so that things don't twist on your hook. Grab a hold of your tail, yarn over, and make your double crochet right into that little space. And then make 2 more. So you have 3 double crochets in there. Now, when we joined, we made all of these slip stitches, but we still have all of the top loops of our stitches from the last round of our ornaments up and free and ready to use. So those are the stitches we're actually going to work into. There are 25 of these little loops, in this case in green, on top, in between here and here, in between here and here. We have 25 loops up here. Okay, those are the stitches we are going to work into. we are going to start off, and the very first one we use and the very last one we use might be a little hard to get into, but we're going to make it work. We are going to double crochet 2 together twice. So you do a double crochet 2 together by starting a double crochet. Okay, so to do that, you yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through. There's 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. And now you do not finish it off. Instead, you yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. There's 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. There's 3 loops on your hook, and you can see you have the bottom half of 2 doubles. You're now going to yarn over and pull through everything on your hook, and you've done the bottom half of 2 doubles, but the top half of only 1. And that's your double crochet 2 together. You're going to make 2 of those. So that was 1 and 2. Basically, all you have to remember for this row is 2 and 5. You made 2 double crochet 2 togethers. Now you're going to place a double crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now 2 double crochet into the next stitch. 1, 2, a double crochet into each of the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 double crochet into the next. 1, 2, double crochet in each of the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then double crochet 2 together twice. Maybe, there we go. There's a double crochet 2 together once. And the very last one, again, like I said, the first and the last one, you kind of have to finagle. There we go. And twice. Okay? Now we have our little center join section. Remember how I said it was so important you work in those bottom ridges so that you have a set of loops here and a set of loops here? This is why. We're now going to work a double crochet into each of the next 5 slip stitches. So we want to be able to use those loops that we left ourselves. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is also why it was important that we don't do those chains and then those slip stitches too tightly in that little space in between the 2, because you need to be able to work all of these stitches into them without this whole thing puckering in the middle. Okay? Now you're going to continue that same manner all the way to the end. So you're going to double crochet 2 together twice, 5 doubles, or double crochet once each in the next 5 stitch, 2 double crochets in the next, 1 double in each of the next 5, 2 doubles in the next, 1 double in each of the next 5, and then double crochet 2 together twice, and then double crochet in each of the 5 slip stitches, and keep doing that all the way till you get to the end, and I'll show you how to do the other end in a moment. So I have gotten to the other end of this strip here. I have worked all the way around the last ornament in the strip, all the way around this side of the last ornament in the strip, and now I've gotten to the blip. This is where I would normally double crochet in each of the next 5 slip stitches, but there isn't a next 5 slip stitches here because we've gotten to the end. So now that I have this little blip, what I'm going to do is place 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in that little blip, in that chain 2 space is what that blip is. It's a chain 2 space. So I'm placing 2 doubles, 1, 2, a chain 2, and then 2 more doubles. 1, 2. And now I'm going to work this side the same way until I get to this end. And when I get to this end, I'm just going to place 3 doubles in here. So I'm going to do each of these little sides the same way that I did them before, and then the 5 doubles here, and so on all the way across. And then I'm going to get all the way to here. I'm going to work all the way across this last half of this ornament, and then when I get here I'm going to place 3 double crochets inside this side of this little blip here, and then I will have all of my ends. I'll cut my end really long just like I have and fasten it off, but I won't weave in any ends because I need them for the tassel, and that will complete this strip. And then what we're going to learn is how to attach the strips together to make the throw. And that will start with our next video.